New details have now emerged in the saga of ex-Nissan CEO Carlos Ghosn, who fled from Japan last weekend. Japanese prosecutors raided his home in Tokyo earlier today as Turkey launches an investigation into how exactly Ghosn's private plane was allowed to stop there. And the Financial Times reporting that Ghosn's associates had planned his escape for months. Meanwhile, a Lebanese news channel reports that Ghosn escaped inside a musical instrument case after a band played at his home in Japan. Yes, inside a musical instrument case.
I believe.
A bass case. Joining us now to discuss, Rick Newman. All right, Rick, what do you make of this?
I love talking about this.
This is a movie. They can start making the movie right now.
It's the best story of 2019, possibly, and maybe it's going to be the best story of last year and this year both. By the way, Carlos Ghosn's wife said it's not true that he escaped in that musical instrument case. And we've got so many conflicting versions of what's going on here. So another development is that Turkey has apparently arrested several people that they think were involved with this, including some pilots. So the real question is, who was behind this and what government enabled this? So he supposedly did not have any of his 3 passports. He's a citizen of 3 different countries, Lebanon, Brazil, and France. So he has 3 passports. But his lawyer had those passports, and yet somehow he entered Lebanon legally, according to government spokespeople there. So did he get a second Lebanese passport, or did Lebanon make an exception to let him enter without a passport? And what was the role of Turkey? I mean, why did this plane fly to Turkey instead of going straight to Lebanon? I mean, they're both basically the same distance. If you look at a map, it's kind of the same distance, but from Japan. Was it an airspace issue? Was the team that did this based in Turkey? Did the team drop off some of their members in Turkey? I mean, how in the world did this happen? So many questions.
I feel like you're writing the movie right now as we're sitting on the couch.
We're getting a lot of conflicting reports also. The whole passport thing, especially interesting. We have a tri-citizen, so there are just so many passports in play. There's the possibility, I think, all of this is unconfirmed, that there may have been a 4th passport, 2 French passports potentially, one that was maybe, lost, right, and that he kept. But I think what kind of one of the takes that I have about this story is the fact that really, when you have a ton of money, you can really do whatever you want to.
Apparently,
He just left, I think, 1.5 billion yen in completely just on the table in bail.
Which is $14 million
$14 million.
Yeah.
And, just decided to leave him, and he wanted to rejoin Carol, which I think is, this sort of love element, which
that was the thing he was most angry about during his lockup.
Well, let's go back to the legal charges. He also insists that he's innocent. That so he has been charged of what they call in Japan financial
you don't look
crimes.
very innocent when you flee, but he said, "I'm fleeing an unjust."
To get
this
a
whole
fairer
case has
trial.
been weird from the start. So they didn't prosecute him the way we would expect that to happen here, which is you file charges, he shows up in court and so forth. The first thing they did is arrest him without telling him why he was being arrested. They took a while to file charges while he was in jail. I mean, that's certainly not the way it would happen here. And then his chief rival at Nissan, who was trying to get Carlos Ghosn out of the chairman role, he took over when Carlos Ghosn left, but then he's left.
Yep.
They booted him because of financial improprieties. I mean, this story is weird on
Not a
multiple
CEO
levels.
job you want to take. I also read, though, not necessarily in his defense, but I did read that in Japan, 99% of defendants are convicted and found guilty. So it bolsters his case that it's a rigged system and I had no chance.
It is plausible that he is not guilty.
Right.
Think of it that way.
The chance is not 0.
Right.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.